People podcast. I'm Guinevere Curry, your host and founder and CEO of Guide to HR. I'm excited to have the Atomic Business Coaching team with me today. Adam, would you introduce yourself and what Atomic Business Coaching is all about?
Sure. Thanks so much for having us. My name is Adam Hurd. I'm one of the two coaches here at Atomic Business Coaching. And we focus on something called purple collar workers, where we help business owners to 10x and work less.
Ooh, I can't wait to dive into that. Tom, welcome and tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. I'm Tom Marino. I am the other coach at Atomic Business Coaching. And one of the beautiful things about Adam and me working together as coaches is Adam really focuses on the business and I focus on the owner. And we talk about, owner mindsets and what it really takes to be an effective owner. And we believe that you can't have a great business without a great owner, and you can't have a great owner without a great business. So it really works together in tandem. And we meet with clients all the time, individually, but they meet with each of us every single week. One meeting with Adam, one meeting with me, so that we can handle whatever issues are coming about so that they can move forward to 10x and work less.
Okay, so Adam, you talked about this purple collar worker thing. I'm used to hearing blue and white collar. What is this purple collar language you've been tossing out?
So the cool thing is you just answered it. So it's blue collar and white collar. Okay. It's the merger of those two. And what we mean by that is there are certain industries out there who we focus on that have been deemed purple collar. And what they are industries that have both of those aspects inside of their industry, meaning their company has to do blue collar work and they also have to do white collar work. Because we find many times, like a law firm, it's all white collar, right? That's
Oh,
all it
sure.
is. A tech company, it's pretty much all white collar. Well, if you're an IT company, okay, you have the white collar side, but then you're going to the physical location and putting in the wires and putting in new computers and putting these racks in. So if you're doing both that laborious part of it and you're doing the white collar sitting at your desk or your computer doing reports, the merger of those two is what we have classified as purple collar.
Okay, so why is this some area in which you guys have chosen to dive in and focus on?
Yeah, we actually didn't choose it. Tom, why don't you tell her about that?
So it's actually quite funny. We were really looking to understand, the clients that we really serve, and we started to look at what, like, who do we appeal to, who do we working with, and we had a lot of clients that were, it was a vast array. It was licensed professionals like architects and physical therapists, and we had a company that was a restoration company, so they had OSHA licenses and different types of licenses to do restoration for mold, fire, water damage, and all of that. And we're looking at it and we're saying, okay, all these people have these common things. They do a lot of hands-on work and they do a lot of paperwork and paper pushing and all of that. And we started to look up, like, what else is out there other than white collar and blue collar. And we actually came across this classification on a Google search. It was a purple collar. Somebody had coined it. We don't know who it is, but there's only one other person that we have found talking about this on the internet. And we said, that is exactly who we service. That's who we provide our best coaching to, is that purple collar individual, where they have that meld of the white collar and blue collar responsibilities. And the thing that we see with all of those individuals is they struggle with running a business, right? They either had a technical skill that they decided to create a job for themselves. And, we always ask that question of, did you create a job for yourself or did you create a business? And a lot of times they realize they've only created a job, and we help them to create a business. And that's where we help them to use their skills to run their businesses and get to that next level. But it was really because we were focusing on who's our client avatar, who is the person that we serve. And that's how we came up with it. And we just grabbed onto it, right? So it's all over our website. We've even done photo shoots with us in purple, just really just to expand on the whole concept, because it really is one of these future-proof things that you can connect to. Purple collar is the human element. There's always going to be a human element in the work that needs to be done, because there's usually hands-on work that needs to be done. And unless robots are going to go out to the field and measure a site or a roof or a leak issue, you're not going to be able to remove the human element. So it's a very future-proof, and a lot of people relate to it. When we tell them what it is, they go, oh my God, that's me. That's me, like 100%. I wear all these hats. That's me. So that's how it came about.
Yeah, and the main
Interesting.
issue, the reason those people have gravitated towards us and how we figured it out, it's like, holy cow, is why are they coming to us, right? Not just that we have them, but why. And what we've experienced is that they are really, really proficient in the blue collar work. They are unbelievably good at the white collar work, and they don't understand how to run the business. And what we find through working with them is that they have to choose really only two of these three areas to work on. They can't do all three to the max capacity. So
Mhm.
as we work through with them, they may be really good at running the business. They just didn't know how to, and they can start to let go and delegate and use all their human resources skills and bring in the talent to do maybe the blue collar side. We've had some of our clients, all they want to do, we have a plumber, all he wants to do is the blue collar work. He doesn't want to handle the white collar. He doesn't want to run the business. Now his wife came in as the chief operating officer to run all of operations.
I was
And
just gonna say, usually it's the wife, right?
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
well,
Yep.
they're just typically smarter than us. That's why.
That's it. A good
Flattery
answer,
will get
Adam.
you everywhere.
It's true. I don't have to flatter. It's true. But the point is that when they've really built themselves to success. They use the white collar and blue collar stuff that they're good at, and they've built up a company usually over 2 or 3 years to I can't believe how much money I'm making. The problem
Mhm.
is they're making more money than they've ever made, and they're paying themselves less than they've ever received by as an employee. And that's the moment that we really have to say, hey, you have something here, you're just doing it out of order. And let's recreate how you run your business, choose what areas, what roles and responsibilities you should be in, and very, very healthily delegate the other roles to the people that want to do them instead of you having to do them.
I love that. I mean, there have been so many podcasts in the past where that's exactly the underlying theme. As the founder, as the CEO, even if it's just because you're the plumber or you're the electrician, like that, it's not just, right? These are important skills that we need to keep growing and having. But if you're just one person and then you start to build this business and you have all these other foundational things that are taking your attention away, all of a sudden you're not spending the time where you should be.
Right.
And that's when founders of any kind of business get themselves in trouble, because now they're trying to do everything and they're not spending the right time in the right place. So that's totally just exactly what I see happening in the white and the blue and now the purple color industries out there. I love it.
The
I learned
switching,
something
this
new today. That's so great.
we really try to switch their perspective, right? And it's really as a founder, as a CEO, it's about the perspective, right? Your job really is two things. It's to generate revenue and to develop, right? And you want to develop people, process, and product. Those are your two roles, revenue and development. That's what you should be doing. And the perspective that we try to shift them on is we want you to be doing things you get to do, not things you have to do.
Mm.
And they're always in this, I have to do, I have to do, no, you don't. You're the boss. You own the company.
Yeah.
You get to do whatever you want. You've just chosen that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to let it go. It's fine. But they have to change that to, all right, I get to do this. I don't have to do that.
Yeah. One of my values when I built my business was do what you love. And I try to tell founders, well, what is it that you love to do? Doing an exercise of put everything you do down on a piece of paper and then circle the ones that you love to do. What are the things that you didn't circle? And who can start taking those off your plate? Because you shouldn't be doing them.
Yeah, it's a
And
really,
then taking it to the next level as a CEO, you're right. I mean, depending on what kind of industry, startup technology industry, you're talking about investors that you have to deal with, maybe a board, and then also, like you said, the revenue and the people or product.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you bring up,
Exactly.
that's such a great exercise to do, right? Because what do you really want to do? What do you really love doing? And then what's everything else? And we see that as a common struggle with everybody we work with. They have difficulty delegating to people. They're not sure what to let go of. And that exercise that you stated there is exactly what we have them do, is really decide what do you not want to do anymore that you could give to somebody else if you just paid them. Because guess what? They probably love to do that stuff that you don't like to do. And
Yep.
that's the thing. And there's someone out there that loves to do the thing you absolutely despise doing. And that's what you just have to remember when you're looking for the right people.
Yeah. If
yeah.
we
Have you,
all love the same thing, then we'd all be doing the same thing and the world would break instantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
have you ever heard of the Pareto principle?
No, tell me a
Okay,
little bit
so
more.
it's a beautiful thing to couple with what you're telling them to do with the circling everything. So we have people do the same thing. We actually have them chart out what they do from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., do it 3 days in a row, and then start to recognize the patterns. And we have them circle doing stuff. The Pareto principle, what that says is 80% of the results come from 20% of the efforts. So what we have them do is start circling everything that took you the most effort in green, right? I'm sorry, in
Oh,
red.
okay.
Everything that took you the
Okay.
most effort in red, and everything
Mhm.
that gave the biggest results in green. And when you start to narrow it down, there's a lot of red on that page of
Yeah.
effort and a little bit of green that got the results. And if you can now take what you do with what we do, is if you could say in those green, is there anything that you love? And if one or two of them what you love, well, that means you can get the most results out of what you love. So I think that's a great way to
Yeah.
put
I
both of
love
our
that.
methods together.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of the 80-20 rule, but I hadn't heard of it from that perspective, taking it that way. That's a great tool. And I hope everyone that's listening takes a moment and really runs through it, because, and not just once, right? So as you continue to grow your business, maybe it's something you do on a semi-monthly or semi-annually, or maybe annual basis. But certainly as you start to build your business, maybe there's certain goals that might be a 2 or 5 year goal, and then refresh.
Yeah,
Because
I own 7 different businesses, and I always make
that's
sure
it. Oh my gosh, you're such a slacker.
well, I have really good people, so I don't spend all my time in all those businesses, but I practice what I preach. And what you were saying is semi-annually, maybe do that, is I do this personally. This is where I came up with the idea, is I do it personally every quarter. I take a 3-day window. I write down everything I'm doing to just make sure, like, am I doing what I wanted to do? Am I
Mhm.
doing what I'm best at, or am I just busy? Tom has this great thing
Mhm.
called the busy bit. Maybe you want to explain it, Tom.
Yeah.
And
So
Ooh.
the
I've
busy
noticed
badge.
I've noticed that I wear the busy badge too much
Uh-oh.
sometimes.
I do. I don't know what it is, but I can already tell I probably wear
Yeah,
it too.
the busy badge is, that high achievers, excuse for, I have all of this work to do because I'm so important and I'm so busy, and I walk around saying, I'm busy. I'm the busiest person in the world. But the bottom line is that's all BS. You're not busy. You don't need to be busy to be successful. We've tied success to being busy, right? When you talk to people, it's like
Mhm.
this disclaimer statement that you give out to people, like, oh, how's everything going? Oh, so busy, so busy, right? But it's all of a self-importance. It's all about becoming self-important and stroking your own ego. But what it really is for a lot of people is, I'm stressed. I'm stressed out by all the things I'm doing. And I'm saying I'm busy to reflect that I'm doing something good. But when we do the Pareto principle with our clients and they recognize you only have to do this much to get this much result, they go, oh, and that's how we help them to start to take their time back. Because when they start to take their time back, they realize I really can work less and still have the same impact and the same effect and the same outcome by working less and working on the things that I should be concentrating on. And that's where we really hope most CEOs and founders of businesses really emphasize what they do every day is where can they be the most impactful? What is the one thing? Really, you only have to do 1 or 2 things a day to really make an impact. And if you can find that one thing that's going to give you 80% of your results, then that's all you have to do. You don't have to be busy. You don't have to be stressed out unnecessarily. Because, in my work with the clients, I'm a life coach, but I'm also certified in neurolinguistic programming. And one of the things that I believe and really subscribe to is the language that we use is really what creates the people that we are. And if you're using that language of busy and stressed and overwhelmed and burnt out, and there's so many problems, and you're constantly saying all those negative words, you're breeding negative energy. Whereas you have to look at more positively. Oh, I have these challenges. Oh, I have this thing that I'm working on, and I'm so excited about it, and I'm so grateful that I have that problem to solve. And when you put it in a different way and you start to speak that way, there's less burnout. And that's one of the things that we really try to help our clients with, is how to speak better so that they don't burn themselves out by the negative language that they use.
I love that. I mean, you manifest what you project, right? They say perception is reality,
Correct.
and that's totally the same here. And I'm a pretty positive person, so I can see how, like, if you talk negatively, you're going to end up feeling more negative.
Mm-hmm.
Just as if you are in a positive mindset, you can continue carrying that forward. Well, so let me ask you guys this. You've been in business for a couple of years now. What's been the trend that you've seen last year And what do you think is going to be the trend of the year, the trendy trend of the year for 2024 as we're wrapping up the first quarter?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll start with the trend that I'm seeing this year. In this first quarter so far, what I'm really seeing from our clients is they're more focused on themselves, meaning like they're focused on their own health. They're focused on
Mm.
their own self-care. They're focused on being with their children and their spouses. And that is great, but you have to be very cautious on it. And that I think is a direct correlation to what I saw the focus on last year. It was just so many people were saying, I got to grind it out. I got to get everything done. And I think it's that, I've gotten to the end of this and I can't do it anymore. And I'm going to go complete opposite. And,
Mm.
what Tom and I really preach is harmony. And it's that there's no balance. There's no work-life balance to these things. And it's not like, okay, I'm going to give 5 hours to my family and 5 hours to my work and 5 hours to my self-care. And then I'm going to go to bed. It's not that. Today, I may need to give 15 hours to work. And tomorrow, maybe I have to give 15 hours to work again. And then the next day, maybe I can give 15 hours to myself. And sometimes it's 5 5 5. Sometimes it's 10 5. So it's all different. It doesn't have to be the same.
Mhm.
So I think the pattern that I'm seeing is everyone focusing so much on themselves is due to this burnout because most of our clients had their most successful years last year.
Mhm.
The economy is not looking great on paper, but the stock
Yeah.
market is exploding. So
Yeah.
how do you, level that out? Right? It's because I think there's a lot of small businesses that have done so well. They're
Mhm.
really increasing revenues, but those dollars don't go as far any longer.
Mhm.
Okay, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really feel like there's that much success. And they're like, I've put all this work in, but my money can't be used for as many things as it used to. So they're like, you know what? I'm just going to spend less time doing these things and make maybe a little bit less money, but I'll just buy less stuff and I'll focus on myself. So I see a lot of that self-care coming in. So I would
Mhm.
caution anyone that has really pivoted over to I'm going to take care of myself is that's wonderful. That's a
Mhm.
piece of the puzzle, but make sure you take care of what got you here as well.
Sometimes the pendulum, it just is such a variant. Like you
Yeah.
really want to try to stay in the sweet spot of like that middle and not be so far right and so far left. And that is the case in all things, right? Tom, what are you seeing?
It's interesting. What I'm really seeing, like I was looking at it more from when you posed that question from the global perspective of what's happening, right? We see,
Mm.
I think we're seeing a lot of fear around what's going to happen with the economy, and we started to creep in the beginning of this year, but really towards the end of last year. But one of the things that we've seen too is this rise in the small business owner, right? This has been since COVID, the number of small businesses that have started have skyrocketed, right? And the Wall Street Journal had an article a couple of weeks ago called "The New Collar," and it was kind of funny because my father-in-law sent it to me. He goes, "This is kind of validates your purple collar," and it was talking about the technical skills that are needed in the world today, and
Yeah.
how we are going back to more of the need for the technical. And it really said to me, okay, purple collar is future proof because a lot of these people that are going to go more into that technical space and go into that world, they're going to start their own businesses and they're going to be those purple collar people we talk about because that's what the world is calling for. But the fear of AI, I think, is something that we're seeing a lot globally. Is what is AI going to really do? What is it going to take over? What is it going to replace? And am I in trouble? And one of the beautiful things about the people we work with is there's always going to be the need for that human element. And that's what we have to reaffirm for people, that keep going in the direction you're going. Don't let fear paralyze you. Don't let the worry about the economy. We've put a lot of our business owners in positions where they have done extremely well in the last 12 months, that they're in a great position for all the opportunity that's going to result because of an economic decline, because of whatever we're going to see happen. Oh, we're all waiting for that. Is it going to
The
happen? We don't
election,
know,
right?
right? But everybody's
Yeah.
waiting for that, right? We see the tsunamis coming across on the Pacific Ocean and all this stuff, and everybody's trying to talk about Armageddon, but we're trying to talk about be prepared to snag anything you can snag and catch what you can catch because you're in the right position to be able to do that.
Yeah, it goes back to I think about the mining days, right? The people that went out to mine for gold, they were not the ones that got rich. It was the vendors, the
Right.
suppliers that got rich off of those people. And that's, I think, what you're basically saying is take this opportunity to be a vendor of the event and not subscribing to the event.
Correct.
Well, any last final words of wisdoms or ideas that you want to toss out there to the listeners of things that they could start thinking about or taking action on to help set themselves right for 2024?
Yeah, I would say to all those who are listening that are CEOs and founders, and you've really found that success last year, and now you're trying to delegate and build your companies, one of the core elements that we've helped our clients who've been in that position to really identify with and make sure that they implement is this one thought. And it's that really good employees are expensive. Okay. But guess what? If you have a cheap employee, they're going to cost you a fortune. And what people don't realize is they're trying to save $1 or $2 to say, all right, let me get it in under this budget. And then they spend more time training them and more time managing them and more time like, oh, let me just get rid of them and bring in a new person. And if you spend the right amount of money on the right person, that will make you so much more money and time. And that's what we're all in business for. We want more money and we want more time for ourselves. So that's the thing I'm really seeing is make sure you bring on the right people.
Yeah, I'd even double down on that and say you are losing potential income from clients, customers that are not coming to you because of that person. Maybe they didn't present your brand right. Maybe they rubbed the customer or potential customer the wrong way. And then referrals, especially in the blue purple collar world, referrals are king. And, that could be a domino effect you have no idea about.
Yeah. And I would just add to that, one of the things is around the mindset that a lot of founders and CEOs, and especially purple collar individuals, struggle with is seeing people as expenses versus seeing them as investments. And, for 2024, one of the big mindsets is with whatever happens with the economy, whatever goes on, you have to remember people are investments in your business so that you can get the time freedom and the results that you want for your business. So remember, they're not expenses. For tax purposes, they may be expenses,
Sure.
but for everything else, they are investments, and they're investments in yourself. And that's what we tell all of our, CEOs is, you're hiring this person for you. You're investing in you by hiring that person. So stop seeing them as an expense and worrying about the stress of the money to pay for those people, but see them as the return on investment that you're going to get from it.
Yeah, absolutely. To quote a very old movie, not to age myself, but build it and they will come, right?
Yep. Feel the dreams.
Hire that person and you will be able to build your business even more so. And I will even say, I'm in the middle of doing that myself. And it's very scary. You're asking someone to come jump off the ledge with you, and you're figuring out how you're going to make sure that you've got them secured financially without unsecuring yourself. But, having faith in what you built and where you're going and what you see is coming to your business and double downing on it. That's what a founder does. So thank you everyone for taking the time to listen. I hope you got some good nuggets out of it, and have a wonderful day.